Alright, this is going to be my final art project for Art 203, and I'm doing it on making a class cookbook with each individual student's watercolor paintings. So the supplies you will need are watercolors, some paintbrushes, preferably watercolor paintbrushes, thick watercolor paper, that's important, painting tape, black marker, pencil, and if you want a wide cardboard slab, but you shouldn't need the cardboard because your paper will be thick enough that it won't bleed through. Also, this is intended for 3rd grade and higher. What did I gain from this? I gained an interesting perspective on a kind of art I never thought about before. This was a chance for me to teach not only watercolor painting, but also a recipe for food I really enjoy that I hope others will be able to enjoy now as well. I think this is a really neat art project because I specifically designed it so that it would be an activity to do at home and also get involved with learning at home too. You get to make food with your parents and share what you learned with your classmates at school. This project promotes engagement within the classroom and engagement at home. So the first step to this assignment is you're going to tape down the watercolor paper to your sheet of cardboard if you wanted it. Otherwise, you can do it to the table. That's what I did. Your paper should be thicker than normal, so bleeding should not be an issue. Step 2, all you'll do is you'll divide the paper into sections. Remember, you'll be dividing it into as many sections as you have ingredients. I had 4 ingredients, so I divided it into 4 sections. So in step 3, you'll have your students sketch their outlines of their ingredients in the sections. The labels do not have to be identical to the labels on the physical ingredient. That's just something that I thought was reasonable, because a lot of labels, there's a lot of details and they're hard to replicate. And as long as you can tell what the ingredient is, I think that that's fair. Step 4, you're gonna start painting the outlines. You won't want to paint them all the way unless you have really easy, basic, like solid color ingredients. All of mine, except for the egg, of course, had more than one color, so I couldn't risk overlapping them. You gotta wait for the paint to dry, otherwise they'll bleed. Once you're finished painting, just take a moment, let it dry, and then you can continue to step 6. So step 6, your paint must all be dry in order to do this. I decided that using a black marker for the labels was reasonable because painting them would be really difficult. If you want to go above and beyond, you can try to paint, but you might risk just messing up your painting altogether, and you don't want to risk that, and neither did I, so I just went for the marker. So in step 7, you're going to remove the tape from the edges of the painting. Gotta make sure that it's dry first, otherwise this will not, like the paint will run, and you don't want that. So what you're going to do now is you're going to use the black marker. You can do this before you remove the tape or after. I just had it after. You can use the black marker to write the name of the ingredient on the top left corner of every section, just so your fellow students will know what the ingredients are if they can't comprehend what it is in the picture. So you're going to flip. In step 10, you're going to be writing each step during the process of making whatever it is you're making. In my case, I made French toast. I was able to do it in 8 steps, technically 7. And, yeah. So for your final step, you're going to make several both-sided copies of your final project or final product for each student in the class. You'll pass them around during class time and assemble the cookbooks for each student to take home to their families. This gives your students a chance to learn from one another and also to go home and educate their families about all the different recipes they discovered. Have fun with this. This assignment is not made to be difficult. This is purely just for fun, learning, and good food, of course. So have a great time doing this.